So a while back I made a tutorial on Faceplant's utility modulators, but I thought I would do another video on them because these utility modulators are one of the most obscure, if not the most obscure feature in Faceplant. You will very rarely see them used compared to basically everything else in the synth, and that includes me. I almost never use them, so I thought I would go ahead and make a patch that uses them operating in a major way to change the sound. So I have 3 random LFOs and they're all changing the inputs of these utility modulators to make them move. They're not actually modulating any of the effects themselves, only indirectly by modulating the utilities. Before I go ahead and actually explain the patch, it might be useful just for me to throw out a useful way to think about the utilities. So max would be like a random LFO concentrated towards the top, min would be like a random LFO concentrated towards the bottom, and multiply could be like a random LFO concentrated towards the center or the ends. That's just a surface level simple way of thinking about it. Obviously max can go very low and min can go very high, but the reason I find it easy to think about it that way is because max will always take the highest value of both inputs and min will always take the lowest. When you pick your multiplier, keep in mind that if you pick a big one, you're likely to get either one end or the other and nothing in between. So with this, I've just gone and selected 0.1 because I wanted something that was closer to the center. Obviously, you could use it like a binary modulator. If you take like stepped random LFOs instead of smooth ones and map them to the inputs, you could probably get something binary in nature. I didn't do that in this patch. That's definitely something you can do. Okay, so this is a patch without any effects. So it's just a sine arp, and this is with all effects enabled. I was going for a weird sort of arp in this case. Not exactly sure how I would use it in my music, but you never know. Faceplant is really good for these weird kinds of sounds, so I thought I would go with it. We have these 3 utility modulators operating on 3 parameters each. So keeping in mind how I described them at the beginning of the video, I thought I would use max to modulate parameters I wanted near 100%. So in this case, I modulated the grain sizes on the pitch shifter and the filter cutoff. And if you watch the filter cutoff, you'll see that it stays pretty close to 100%. So basically using it as a concentrated random LFO. Obviously, the utilities don't have to be random. You can power them using any modulator available in Faceplant. It doesn't have to be a random LFO. You can use them in any number of ways, but this is just one specific use case. Saturator does not have any modulation. Pitch shifters also have their pitches modulated, and that's by the multiply utility. So the multiply is staying pretty close to center. I wanted some kind of subtle movement, but also noticeable. So that's what's being done to the pitch shifters. The multiply is also modulating the delay time. You probably know that when you change the delay time, it changes the pitch in a really obvious way that you usually don't want, but it has a lot of sound design potential. So I did that as well. With min, I wanted to modulate parameters that would stay close to 0. I chose the delay on the flanger, the mix on the ring mod, which is sine based, and the feedback on the delay, which is very low. And it does move up occasionally, but not very often. So that's just a quick run through of how you could go about using these utilities in a patch. You're probably not going to end up using them very often. I find that they work best for more specialized, quote-unquote, random LFOs. And obviously you don't have to use them the way I describe them. I just find it helpful to think of them that way because you use them so infrequently, or at least I do. Understanding them in a simpler way could help you to get more use out of them.